if I could like share a story, and this might get kind of dark. I don't want to, maybe it's a trigger warning kind of thing to put in front of us. But I do have a particular disdain for the Whatever podcast, and where that comes from. So before living in Austin, I grew up in the Ventura, California area, lived in Santa Barbara before moving out to Austin, went to college in like San Luis Obispo, graduated in 2014. Whatever podcast, they're headquartered or based out of Santa Barbara. They started in 2012 as a prank video YouTube channel. They did a lot of videos that were very Nelk Boys style. Had one family friend that ended up like in one of their prank videos, they had two girls wandering around the city asking, do you want to have a threesome with us? And he said, yeah. And it was a big prank. It was really funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But stuff like that. That was them in 2012. So something that happened at University of California, Santa Barbara in 2014, almost 9 years ago today. There was a very tragic school shooting. It was, I don't even want to say the name of like the shooter, but it was somebody who subscribed to the, Manosphere red pill type content. It was before any of these types of podcasts existed, but there were, in written form, the red pill forums on Reddit, like people just egging each other on, sharing terrible stories. Memorial Day weekend in 2014, he planned to, shoot women inside a sorority house. They didn't let him in, open fire in a street corner. One of the women that was killed there was, close friends with some people I'm really close with. And because I lived in Santa Barbara, a lot of my former coworkers, a few of them had survived that shooting. My sister went to UCSB. She was with me, thank God, that weekend. I remember when she got the call. And, just the fact that something like that happened in Santa Barbara, that was so horrible and tragic from someone that was, fueled by this like red pill type content, how the Whatever podcast, who, kind of died down after, Whatever is what they were called, 2012 doing prank videos. They kind of laid dormant. It was founded by the same guy who's running the podcast right now, Brian Atlas. And then, they see the success, the money of fresh fruit, and then they turn Whatever into the Whatever podcast. And I'm sure they're making good money off that, but how you can make a podcast like that with that type of content, targeting that type of audience that's struggling, that close to where something horrible happened. Like, I don't know how they can like sleep at night. I just have a particular disdain for that.
Oh my God. You and I are cut from the same thread because I've said the same thing. I'm in Texas, and obviously you're in Austin now, but we had the shooting in the Allen Mall just a couple of weeks ago. Then Uvalde is 20 minutes to my left. Mm-hmm. And you look at all the shooters, and again, I'm not blaming the podcast, but the red pill space, the whole ideology is fueled with just hate. Mm-hmm. And when you see these young men who are doing these shootings, and for whatever reason, if it's political, religious, or just a hatred for women, I could not live with myself to preach and just spew that hate to millions of people like Pearl, Fresh Fit, whatever. They're banking, they're making money. But again, it's based off at what cost? I know they don't give a shit. I know they don't, because the money in their end is more or less the important rule off factor. But I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a daughter. My daughter just went to college. I could not live with myself as a content creator selling out and just selling that message, because my demographic on YouTube is all 18 to 35 men. And if I wanted to sell out and to spew that content, I can make money and all that, but it's not worth it. No. Our words have power. We have to be very careful with that, because why contribute to the divide and hate? Because I could not live with it myself, as you said. I couldn't.
Yeah, it's horrible. And they're putting just, very specific types of people who are coming on there for attention to share stories that are just, very, few and far in between, like, confirming these guys' fears that, oh my gosh, all these women hate you and you're worth nothing, and look how terrible they are, when really, like, women aren't like that. Like, there's, the average woman that you go outside and meet, like, doesn't have an OnlyFans. Like, maybe she would like to be treated like, she likes a guy to pay for the first date. She's not after your wallet. She thinks it's nice. Like, that's kind of the average woman. And you're kind of putting it in these guys' heads that, no, it's terrible. They all hate you. Why bother even trying? Keep watching our podcast. By the way, when you're older, women will be attracted to you, and all these women rejecting you will end up, ugly, single, and alone. And you'll have your fresh pick of 22-year-olds when you're 38 years old, and just keep watching our podcast until then. And it's very, very toxic and very scary. And I think, it's teaching, social skill, the opposite of social skills that I think are really having a terrible impact on young men. Yeah.
And like I said, I have a very honest conversation with my son. My other son's 6 months, so he's still a baby, but my son is 16, and we talk about sex. We talk about dating all the time, and I show him examples of what not to listen to. And you're right, these young guys. Oh, I'm not 6 foot. I don't have a chance. I'm 5'9". I've shrunk into 5'8" because I'm getting older, and apparently you shrink when you get older. But that never was a problem. Maybe there was 20% of the women who didn't pursue dating me because I wasn't tall. That did happen. So there's women out there, who prefer taller men, but it never destroyed me. I'm like, okay, that's their preference. So what? I'm just going to move on to the next. No big deal. And a lot of guys are they're learning about the world and women and how their world is supposedly works through these podcasts. And again, they're sold this carrot that, hey, if you want to get these baddies, and the women that they know of that exist that are all over are the IG models, the OnlyFans models, or porn stars. That's all they know of women. That's how they learned about women, through social media, through like the worst examples ever. And they've never encountered any real world women. So when I get like these idiots who come on my page and say, all women suck, go leave the country. I'm like, well, where are you basing that information on, that opinion? You're going to leave the US as all women are trash. How many women have you dated? How old are you? They're 18. They haven't even left their mom's house. But apparently all women in the US are ugly and stupid. Modern women are trash. They're going to go overseas to find a woman. They have no life experience, and they're just being influenced by this trash that's out there.